Good morning everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So I decided that I need to go in a bit of a new direction here, and I need to try out some new audio software. A new DAW, if you will. Those of you who frequent my channel or know me in the real world, by the way, I can't thank you enough. I greatly appreciate you. You already know that I do not do things the most normal or traditional way that you're supposed to, and music is no exception to this. So for a long time, my preferred platform was Jeskola Buzz. It has a very small cult following at this point, but it is a very useful program. If you want more info on this, you can check out some of my previous videos. I'll leave some links down in the description. So anyway, what I usually use is pretty outdated, not very user-friendly, and there are obviously a lot better and easier options now available in 2021. So keeping this long story short, I'm jumping ship, I'm trying out something new, and the new DAW that I chose was REAPER. Again, I just needed something that's more accessible for new users and has better features than Audacity or something like that. For the sake of, like, when I make tutorial videos, I want people to be able to follow along with me a lot easier. It doesn't really matter what DAW you are using, a lot of the concepts of audio production cross over anyway. So I want something better to use as a teaching tool so I can demonstrate these concepts in a way that more people will be able to understand and more people will be able to apply them to their own workflow. So real quick, a few things that sold me on REAPER. First off, it has a very forgiving trial period. The trial period doesn't seem to be limited by anything that makes it a less fully featured version. There's no limits on what you can and can't export. There's nothing that will interrupt your final song and tell you that it's only a trial period, like the audio version of a watermark. I don't know what you really call that, but... And another thing that made REAPER pretty attractive to me is that it's fairly cheap for a licensed version. I think you can get the cheapest version for like $60 and it's yours forever. So in a sense here, I am returning to noob status to kind of learn this new program here. Anyone who's experienced in using REAPER might be watching me like, oh my god, what are you doing right now? And I do encourage, if this is the case, I do encourage you to leave me some comments down below and let me know what I can do better, because I like to learn from you as well. So this time I'm just going to share my first impressions, and if you're thinking about maybe installing REAPER, then maybe you'll have a similar experience. Maybe this will help you in your decision-making process if you're caught up between REAPER and something else. Anyway, so my first impression on the UI is that it made a lot of sense and it was pretty easy to understand and use, especially coming from a background where I've used several other different DAWs in the past. I already kind of know what I want to do, and the interface is laid out in a way that makes the workflow pretty easy, and everything is laid out where it's supposed to be. All of the buttons function how you think they should. I didn't get stuck too many times in the process of recording my first song. So like recording a track is just as simple as double click over here to add a new track. Click this one to arm the track for recording. Now you can see that we have input here. Now we just hit the record button and now it's recording me talking. How about that? So now we just disarm for recording, and we rewind, and we play. Hit the record button, and now it's recording me talking. Another part that I thought was pretty cool is that REAPER worked with my USB audio interface without having to tell it to do anything, without having to change any settings whatsoever. I think during the install process, it gave me the choice to choose my audio driver, and I think I chose ASIO. But I'm pretty sure that's the only choice that I made during the install, and then I fired it up, I started recording, and REAPER automatically got the input from my USB interface, and it recognized my mic and everything. It was very turnkey in this process. I just armed a track for recording, I pushed record, and it worked. If you do need to change your audio input or your driver settings, it's right up here in the menu, just Options, Preferences, Audio, and Device. And all of the options should pop up here. I thought it was pretty cool that when you stop recording a track, it gives you options as to where you can save the file and in what format right then and there. But I found over the process of an entire recording session that this got to be a little bit annoying, having to do this every time I stopped recording a track. So eventually I checked the little tick mark box that says, "Do not show this dialogue." So this got me off onto another interesting rabbit hole, and I never really did find a great solution for this yet. Again, maybe you can clue me in down in the comments section, or maybe I'll just have this figured out by the next time you see a video from me. So the part that was weird and interesting to me is after you stop recording a track, it lets you pick a file name for it, and then you save the file name. That's all good. That's all fine. I feel like you should be able to do some sort of a live update to have the edits that you have made in Reaper reflected in the source project folder. But the closest that I can get to this now is just selecting the audio clip and then exporting it to its own completely different file. This is fine. This is what I've had to do before in Audacity and in pretty much so every other DAW that I've tried. I just think it would be cool to see this relationship between the WAV file and the project folder and inside of Reaper play off of each other and be a little bit more compatible. I think that would give us all some cooler options and some more convenience in the editing process. I know it's definitely a small gripe, and I don't want it to seem like this detracts from my experience using Reaper that much. Overall, I think that Reaper is a really decent program, and I'm most likely going to buy it once my trial period is over. So beyond that, I did have to Google a few things to figure out what I was doing when I got stuck. I figure this is a natural process when you're learning any program. Like I said, overall the interface seems pretty well laid out. I had a pretty good experience with it, and when I did need to go and Google and find some information, the info seemed pretty readily available. The user's manual for Reaper is like 300 some pages long, and it's pretty extensive, and I think that if you're having a problem, you might be able to find a solution just by reading the manual pretty easily. I didn't actually engage with the community or the forum that much, but it did seem pretty searchable. There were plenty of posts from previous users to search through and try to find similar answers that I needed. So then I had to figure out what the support on YouTube was like, so I had to watch a few tutorials and just get some of the ins and outs of the interface that I was missing. Just all the particulars of how selections and edits are made and how Reaper is actually handling the audio files and clips. Mostly just because it's important stuff to know, and it was helping me in my particular workflow for the song that I was working on. But I have to say that Reaper is pretty, how they call it, turnkey, right? Like you just download it and you start using it, and it's instant gratification for the most part, it seems. One thing I haven't gotten to yet is editing audio clips inside of Reaper. I got the impression that it likes to link out to an external wave editor or something like that. So in my instance, I recorded a vocal line, and I wanted to go through and I wanted to select all the pieces where I had a breath, and I wanted to mute the breath. And I couldn't figure out how to do that inside of Reaper natively. Again, I know what to do, and I know that it's no issue just to export it and then put it into a different program, make the edit that you want to make and put it back in. You know, it's about a 5-minute process and you're done. So it's not like I can't work around this problem, but it would be a lot nicer if Reaper had a way to do this natively, or if it was more apparent how you go about doing this. Reaper also appears to have full VST plugin support, which is very useful for my cause. I haven't actually dug into it very much yet, but VSTs of course make up most of my sound and techniques, and I got a huge folder of them, and I'm eager to see how compatible all of the ones that I like to use are. Anyway, I think that about covers my first impressions without going into a whole lot of excessive detail. I hope you all stick around and join me in future videos where I'm actually putting Reaper to the test to demonstrate some of my musical and production concepts. Just on a personal note, things have gotten pretty busy in my life outside of the YouTube channel, and I haven't had as much time as I would like to dedicate to this project lately, but even that being the case, I am still doing my best to try to put out weekly videos or something close to that, and hopefully I'll be more caught up and things will be a little bit smoother when it gets into winter time, and I'll be able to just keep cranking out content like I usually do. I'm also not getting the chance to engage with the community or engage with my comments as much as I really should be, and I do apologize for that. I will be getting back to everybody as soon as I possibly can. Thank you all so much for sticking with me and following my channel. It really means a lot to me, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Hope y'all have fun out there. And I forgot to do this earlier while I was actually recording in good quality, so it's in cell phone quality. I would like to shout out my one lone singular Patreon supporter, the great and talented John Johnson. You are the MVP currently. No one else is as big of a Ty Wolf music fan as you are. So thank you very much. And I know the rest of you want to be cool just like John Johnson is, so don't forget that I do have a Patreon, and that's probably one of the best ways that you can possibly support me. I don't really get paid for doing this, but I like to do it, and I'd like to do it more. So if you enjoy this, please consider supporting. If you don't want to support financially, please subscribe to the channel if you think I have earned it, and maybe leave a comment, leave a like. Every little bit helps. Anyway.